what we're going to do is we're going to grow some bananas. I've already took some of the starters. I'm going to show you how to actually get them as well, and then how to make a bed and how to grow them properly. So let's take a look. Whew. Right, so I'm here now inside a kind of banana plantation, and the people here allowed me to basically just go in here and take a couple of starters. And just to show you the two different types of starters that you can get. There's basically, first of all, this is the mother plant anyway. So this is going to create bananas this year. And then the plant also sends out these starters, and there's two different types. So you have a very thin-leafed banana plant. This makes the bananas. And then you have a rounded leaf banana plant, which actually makes no bananas whatsoever. But all banana plants later on in their growing stage actually get round leaves, so that's only when they're actually at this young stage that you can tell. Now the other way actually being able to tell is that the suckers usually are further away from the water suckers are further away from the actual stem of the mother plant, whereas the banana ones are much closer as well. So that's it. The only difference here now is that, of course, the only problem is I can't take this one away because it's going to be next year's. So you always have to have two, what they call sword suckers on a plant, because you can take one away and leave the next one there, or even two there, and you get two banana plants next year.
Right, believe it or not, it's actually starting to rain. What a pleasant surprise. Wonderful. Now I have here my starter. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to show you how to take it out as well. And I left this, you can't see it probably here, but here's another one that's going to carry on for next year. So there's always going to be two, of course, as I mentioned. Now it's very easy. You just basically take away the soil, and you have to be careful because, at least here in India anyway, there's these centipedes. They're about that long. Sorry, they're about that long. And they, when they bite you, will rot away your flesh. So I was digging this morning, and one of them crawled onto my hands, and so I was very shocked. And I've never moved so fast in my life. Now it's not one of them fellas, they're actually quite friendly, but it's a big, fat centipede, and I don't want to get bitten by them. So just keep an eye. This is actually, they're the roots from the mother plant, and the sucker will actually make roots underneath the plant. So when you're cutting it, you have to cut slightly towards the mother plant, so you don't hurt the little sucker. Now of course using gloves would probably be the best thing. Just need to cut through. Sometimes it's quite close to the stem, and it makes it much more difficult to cut through it. Through the actual connection bit. And then just very gently tilt it away, and very gently pull it out. And look at that baby. Look at them roots on that. That's exactly what I want. And I just cut it away here. It's almost like a little bulb. It's just lovely. It's going to make a lovely new plant. Now last but not least, just cover it back in, especially cover the roots of the mother plant, and there you have it. Now another thing I wanted to just mention quickly as well, just check out the amount of bananas you can get just from one plant. And some of these bananas, they grow and grow and grow massively just in a bit of kind of clay soil, nothing added to it, and they just grow massive big stems like this. So once this banana plant has actually produced its bananas, you generally would just cut it off here at the stem, and that means these new suckers would next year produce bananas. But look how many suckers it actually has, this one plant, and it's making new ones as well. I might actually take a few more of these ones here and plant them as well. But what I love about this bananas is that you get all this material full of water for composting. What a wonderful way of getting all the nutrients deep from within the ground and putting them where
you can actually use them. So into your compost heap or as mulch on top of your plants. Right, so where are we going to put those bananas? And I thought the best spot would be there on the right hand side. See where all that's kind of high brush is? So I was thinking maybe making a kind of a 50 centimeter circle for each banana plant in there, and just kind of spread them out about 2 meters apart. And then they have enough space, of course, to make suckers and of course make lots and lots more bananas. That's the idea. This here is my nice tool I'm going to use. You get them this Indian hoe. You can get them a shorter kind of version, maybe that long. But trust me, if you're doing any kind of gardening, always aim for the long handled option. Because first of all, it's going to be more leverage as well, so you're going to have more strength. And plus you're not going to be having to bend down a lot, which is, if you're down here doing this, I tell you, after a while your back really is a killer. Okay. Without further ado, let's go and do this thing. Okay, so the good thing is always to look up, and if you see blue sky, this is always a good place to put your banana or tree, whatever tree you're going to plant. So I'm going to put it roughly here. That's one location. One over there in the corner. Okay, so I did the 4 patches and I didn't really disturb the surrounding areas. I'm just keeping that all intact so that the monsoon rain doesn't wash it all away. Plus it's always good wherever you go in nature that you disturb the area as little as possible, within reason. And the other good thing, I actually wanted to mention this quickly as well, is here we have a termite nest, and it's basically shows that when you see termite activity, it means that the soil hasn't been touched too much and it's been kind of left alone. And this is of course good because termites are in a way similar to the worms in the west, the earthworms, where they dig the soil but they also kind of decompose all that organic matter, making it plant available through microbes and things like that for our plants to use. I meant to do that. Anyway, let's take a look. Let's go to the next step. Right. It's so hard. Now the next step is going to be digging a very, very deep hole, about 1 foot wide by about 2 feet deep, and that's just to accommodate a load of compost. Okay, so I got some compost. Well, it's more like kind of bark mulchy compost. That there's some compost in it because of course there was veggie peelings in it as well. But because I can't mix it all together with the soil, or in my case, which is mainly sand, I can't mix it all together because it can take the nitrogen out of the soil for some time until this is well broken down. But then the plants can't access that nitrogen. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put it into the hole, into the bottom of the hole, put the soil on top of that, and then the roots will feed into the compost particles. As you can see, they are on my hand here. So there is some particles in there, some dust, and that is going to become the food for the plants. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to stick that into the hole. And so roughly a good bucket size, a couple of handfuls in there. Push it down a bit. Good stuff. And then all I have to do is put the sand back on top, like I did with the trench bed system, the water saving trench bed system. Just down there. I'm going to plant the banana directly in the soil or the sand. Right. So it's not actually sitting in the compost itself, but it will grow into the compost. Now there are the bananas, so I basically put them into some water for the time being, so that they actually can suck up a bit more water. I did that about an hour ago. And all I got to do now is plant my little banana plant. And that's it. Right, so the next step is the most essential step. And that is mulch, mulch and more mulch. I'm going to cover the whole area with mulch. Okay, so you can see that I've covered the whole area with mulch, and that is the most important step for the bananas. They are very, very heavy feeders, and they also like a lot of water. So by adding mulch, we all know that it's going to stop evaporation. But also whenever it rains, with the big monsoon rains, what will happen is as this decomposes, the fine particles, because this is sandy soil, will slowly wash down into the soil surface, and thereby feeding the plants as well, or whenever I actually water. Not to forget our termites as well, to help a little helping hand as well. I think I'll get more mulch. I really want to pack a load of mulch on there. There we go. Okay, another thing I actually forgot to do was to add some form of potassium to, something rich in potassium to the banana plant. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to get some banana leaves, chop them up and stick them under the compost. I should have of course put them down first, but I totally forgot about them. The other thing I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to put some wood ash into my compost that I'm making fresh at the moment over in the corner. And what that'll do is it's going to make potassium rich compost. It's going to tie the potassium up by adding it to the compost heap, and then I can of course fertilize them at a later stage as well. Now I'm just planting some of these beans. This is actually the beans I found on my seed hunch. It's not a hunch, it's a hunt in the Termite. That's the beans, just to show you my wonderful crops. So I'm just kind of putting them around, and also around the mulch as well, to kind of do a ground cover, also crop intercropping so I get more out of the same space, and of course they're going to make lovely seeds for us in the future. Yeah, so some of you have been asking whether or not I'm going to, or we are going to move into that house. We're not going to do that. We already live somewhere else, 15 minutes away. It's more like an elaborate kind of 2-shed pump house kind of seed bank, and I actually put the roof on as well, so I'll do an update on that as well. Right, and that's pretty much it. Soon the monsoon rains will come. I won't have to water at all. Maybe another 2 weeks we'll probably have the start of the monsoons, 2 or 3 weeks. But for now I'm going to water them every day, and they're going to put on quite a bit of growth before the monsoon hits. But once the rain comes, all this mulch is going to decompose, feed the bananas, and the bananas are just going to shoot up and create bananas in about 6 months' time. Now I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, please do like up this video, share it as well, and as always, thanks for watching.